Hey guys, my name is Matt and welcome to today's market update. Today I want to talk about my view in general on the market, whether I think we're going to go up or down in the short/mid term. Also, I found a great long setup and a great short setup, I think, so I'm going to show you these. Just before we get into the video, I want to say that this is not financial advice and you should only trade if you are experienced. Starting off at Bitcoin, on the weekly we have hit our first price target of 28k. It doesn't seem like we're necessarily going to hit the second target of 32k in the next few days or weeks, because right now 28k is acting as resistance. We have closed above it, and right now it seems like we're gonna close the next weekly below. I mean, it's still 4 days until the weekly close, but yeah, it doesn't look that great. It could only be a dump and we just recover and close back above. But if we close below, then this whole thing is a deviation or SFP or a fake out or whatever you want to call it, and that means that the next target would be 24k/25k, somewhere around here. If we close above, basically we're probably just gonna range between 32 and 28k before we break onto one side. That's about the weekly, I think. Not much more interesting going on. Bitcoin on the daily, also not as interesting, I think, but there's at least something to do. I think we're in this range from May of 2022. We've been accepted into it, and then we have been trading around the midpoint for a while, got rejected, got back up, and now we are at the bottom of the range. So basically, if you are in some long trades, I think that closing below the daily range is a pretty good invalidation. And yeah, that's basically about it. Just if we stay in the range, just basic range trades, buy bottom, sell top, wait for breakout either up or down, and that's basically about it on Bitcoin, I think. Yeah, I'm not yet really bearish, but if we start closing below the range, and then if we close the weekly below this, I'm gonna start being bearish real soon, and I think we're gonna go back down here. But that has not yet happened, so my view right now is very neutral until we break to one of the sides. That's about Bitcoin. Now I want to talk about a pretty good long setup, and there's not really many in the market right now. If you look at this, this looks horrible, this looks horrible, this looks horrible, everything basically looks horrible. ADA looks pretty good until you look at the Bitcoin chart, which looks horrible. So yeah, I feel like the only pretty good trade right now is INJ. Before we get into that, don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you are enjoying it, because it really helps us. And right now, the TA on INJ is basically this, in my opinion. You have this weekly level, which I think is the most important one. We have reclaimed it and we closed above it, retested it, and it even looks like we're gonna get bounced and go up even more. The price targets here would be, I think this is a very strong level of resistance. You can see here, we've struggled with it for quite a while. Then you have this, and then you have this one. So I think you just trade these levels. So you just sell once you get onto one, buy once you break it, again, sell once you hit the level, then buy once you break it. The same goes here. And if we break through here, then it's straight up, but that's a double away. I think it's not really bad to just take these levels and trade around them. And I feel like this is basically the only setup in crypto right now that looks pretty bullish. Even looking at the Bitcoin chart, looks even better in my opinion. You have this being the main resistance, I think. You can just say this was a fake out, this was the resistance. We have broken the resistance right now, and if we close above it, we could just go higher, way higher, I think. I think INJ is gonna outperform Bitcoin for a while now, so if you are bullish on the market, just why not buy this one, I guess. Yeah, that's basically about the coin. I feel like the most important level right now is this. If we hold it, then there's room up or room to go up. So just trade around some levels. Yeah, that's basically about INJ. Now I want to talk about BNB, which is a pretty good short setup in my opinion. If we close like this, then this is a fake out. Yet another one on BNB. You had this SFP, this one, and then now we even closed above, and if we close back below, I think we could hit either this as a pretty good price target, or this one. I feel like this is the more reasonable one. The trade would look basically like this. So say we close right where we are right now, so your invalidation is a close above and your take profit is below. That's if you want to short, and this is basically about BNB. I would just wait for the weekly close, get in, get out here. Invalidation is the weekly close above, and yeah, it's basically about it. On the daily, the same applies basically. You could even open the setup on the daily Just wait for the daily close below the range, open it on the daily. Your invalidation is still a weekly close above, or even a daily close above if you open the daily. But yeah, that's just if you want to outrun the or just open before the weekly close. I don't really think it's a bad idea here because the setup is the same on the daily and on the weekly, so you don't really have to wait that long for this one, or you wouldn't if you took the daily trade. BNB against Bitcoin also doesn't look great, so we got back into this range after a while, after basically half a year or even more, 9 months. We got back into the range, so your most reasonable target would be the midpoint right here. And yeah, I think that's about BNB. Just a pretty clear short setup for you guys if you want to trade some shorts. Now I just want to talk about ETH because ETH is ETH. On the weekly, I feel like this was the most important level. This one, we broke through it, and if we close above, it's still not looking that bad. It's even very good for a rebuy if you are bullish on ETH right now. So if we keep closing above this level, I think we're not looking that bad, and I think this level is the one that invalidates your longs. That's basically about the weekly. The most reasonable target would be 2.5k, but that's if the market goes up. So the trade would be this. That is on the weekly. On the daily, it's pretty much the same as Bitcoin is. You have this range. We are right now still in the range, and as long as the range holds us, we don't break back down. It's pretty good, and I feel like this is a great invalidation because if you open right now, your invalidation is basically like how much? It's basically 2% away, and your price targets would be either the top of the range, or if you are bullish on the weekly, it's the 2.5k, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, I feel like you have a great invalidation here, and ETH against. That's basically about ETH against the dollar. Now, ETH against the Bitcoin also looks pretty good, especially considering the weekly. So basically, we broke below the midpoint. This whole thing turned out to be a fake out. We closed back above. And if we don't close back below right now, or this week, then it looks pretty bullish to me. I think we could hit the top of the range at least again. And as I already said a few times, I think that if we hit the top of the range again, we're gonna break through and go up. So that is ETH Bitcoin on the weekly. Just look at the midpoint, and if we close above, I think it's pretty bullish. And now on the daily, this doesn't look as great, but I feel like this red level that I just drew is the most important one. So basically, you had the fake out, then you broke above this, you got rejected by this resistance, this level, clear rejection. But right now, this level, this red box, this one could still hold us. Basically, if this level holds us, then this is a great setup on ETH against Bitcoin. If this level breaks, then the setup is basically out of the window because you can't really trade it. It's just gonna be bearish on the daily. You just wait for the weekly. Then, if the weekly still closes above, even though we break this daily level, if the weekly still closes above, it's up to you if you want to trade this. You still have the invalidation. You are opening right at the midpoint, so it's not that bad because the invalidation is always going to be close. And still not a bad setup, but the dream scenario would be we close above this, you open the ETHs, then we close the weekly above the midpoint, and your ETH longs are gonna outperform Bitcoin, and if we close this, then it could just bounce away. And I feel like this is all I wanted to talk about today. So thank you guys for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like it, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel because it helps us, and bye.